Welcome back to Bowl TV. Continuing coverage of the 2019 USBC Queens. We continue on with our first round matches. These are matches on the right side of your bracket. The right side of the bracket. Left side matches went on this morning at 9 a.m. They are complete. So hopefully you have checked the updated bracket online at bowl.com/queens. You can also get there at pwba.com/live as well. Appreciate you joining us and tuning in. My name is Emil Williams Jr. We got Jason Thomas, Aaron Smith, and Curtis Von Kruger. Want to thank our tournament staff. To Neil Milligan, who is the Director of Operations for the PWBA. Kathy Waka is here, as well as Greg Moore. Handles USBC tournaments, and he'll be on point. TV time is upcoming, and Greg leads the way in our TV setup also. Angie Ramirez Perea and Sin Lee Jane On 27 and 28, Juliana Franco and Shaolin Zulkifli. On 29 and 30, Ramirez led after day one. Matches surrounding us, Caroline Lagrange and Jennifer King. On 25 and 26, Stephanie Johnson and Brianna Cote. It's a tough first round matchup on 31 and 32. Cindy Jane had to throw a couple of strikes late. The final game of qualifying to ensure her spot. Shaolin put together a very nice day on the final game of qualifying, or the final day as well, to get to plus 83. She qualified 55th. Jane was at plus 77. She actually tied with Rebecca Martin. Ties in qualifying were broken by high block. This looks more of the Cindy Jane we have become accustomed to seeing. Pretty firm ball speed, got some surface out there, and she's very good at able to kind of get it to roll, hook, and stop immediately. And when she does that, as you've seen the first couple of shots here to begin this match, it'll look pretty good. Angie talked about just some of her focus keys, and at this point having an idea of what the various pairs may present. Talking about the situation, or her specific situation from the left-handed side of things. There are a couple in match play. This is Angie. We've got Shannon Pluhowski as well as Sherry Tan. Back-to-back splits for Brianna Cote on 31 and 32. Let's see. Let's take a look at winners from this morning's left side bracket matches. Brandy Branca defeated Liz Johnson. Brandy was the 64th and final player to earn a spot in match play. Liz Johnson was the top qualifier. .679 to 637. Branca advanced. She will face Laura Plazas at 130. Plazas defeated Tanya Raumimper 583 to 544. Diana Zavyalova, the first round victory over Jen Higgins, 649 to 597. She will face Dasha Kovalova, who defeated Haley Richard in round one, 647 to 582. Daphne Tan defeated Brittany Brown, a match you saw here on 29 and 30, 617 to 569. She will take on Valerie Mercier, who defeated Stefania Cobo 616 to 601. Liz Colkin defeated Katie Ann Sopp Schroeder 700 to 645. And she will face Maria Jose Rodriguez at 130, who defeated Rebecca Martin, a match you saw here, 630 to 560. This will be a good second rounder right there. Giselle Poss, one pin victory over Lauren Pate. She advances to face Kayla Bandy, who defeated Caitlin Johnson 581 to 491. Lindsay Boomershine defeated Stephanie Schwartz 638 to 574. She will face the lefty Sherry Tan of Singapore, who defeated Heather Dorico 687 to 553. Josie Barnes defeated Jasmine Mason 680 to 664. And Barnes will face Andrea Petraglia, who defeated Jordan Richard 581 to 544. And Verity Crawley defeated Kelly Kulik 650 to 609. She advances to face Caitlin Simpson, who came from behind to defeat Shannon O'Keefe 654 to 652. So half of the contenders bracket also is now set. Those matches will take place at 4 p.m. this afternoon. Liz Johnson versus Tanya Raumimper. Katie Ann Sopp Schroeder versus Rebecca Martin. Jen Higgins versus Haley Richard. Brittany Brown versus Stefania Cobo. Lauren Pate versus Caitlin Johnson. Kelly Kulik versus Shannon O'Keefe, with the winner being, or excuse me, the loser being eliminated. And Stephanie Schwartz will face Heather Dorico. Jasmine Mason versus Jordan Richard. That's a good matchup. Sin Lee Jane strike spare four-bagger. Oh, and some love on the 9-pin for Caroline Lagrange. And they'll need a score correction there. Well, we know what happens sometimes in game one. We saw it earlier. A couple players really get out to great starts. But Sinley Jane has that look going right now. Juliana Franco from Colombia. Plenty of experience on the PWBA Tour. Again, making a couple of shows in 2017. That might be the only thing that could stop Sinley Jane at the moment. 9-pin for Jane, and well, for Angie as she tries to figure out this left side, and hopefully the lanes will start coming to her just a touch sooner. Don't want too big of a deficit. You never really know. Spare made for Sinley Jane. Don't forget about live scoring, folks, along with the 8 channels that you can watch here on Bowl TV. If you want to check out live scoring and see what's happening in matches in that form as well, you can. That too is available at pwba.com/live. The link also on bowl.com/queens. Ball change there for Ramirez and got that one a touch left. And that seemed to be the one thing, even when we watched Angie during qualifying, and it really, and it almost didn't matter if you were left-handed or right-handed. If you got it right early or left early, that was trouble. And while we have a chance, let us welcome in the reigning PWBA Player of the Year and gracious with her time. Here is Shannon O'Keefe.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Appreciate you joining us for a bit.
Of course.
A good spare here for Ramirez. Well, Shannon, I know you obviously won this event, the defending champion.
Whoop, whoop.
But now I
got a long road.
You're in the long road of things.
I do.
After losing a tough match this morning.
Yeah.
The lane play.
Yeah.
What was your game plan coming out?
So, the best that I have bowled and watching, because I watch everything. It's just kind of who I am. The best ball motion that I have seen is, playing further to the right on the gutter. And the best reactions and carry and everything that I have had was doing the same thing. And so I came in this morning and gave it a look, and it looked really, really good. And so I just kind of was like, okay, just in repeat mode now. That's all you can do. And you win some and you lose some. And I think anytime that you can walk away with no regrets and knowing that you executed to the best of your ability, it's really hard to be upset with that. And that's how I am. It's very easy to walk through and see all the matches where people have shot like 550 and won, and
sure.
But
which always will happen
all the time. But that's why this tournament is so hard to win. And I was just saying this to my husband Brian. I said I think this is why I was so emotional winning this one last year, because for me, I have bucket list things within my career that I want to achieve. And one is I would love to win every major. So, but this is the one that I just kind of thought would elude me because it's the hardest one to win, because anything can happen in matches. It's based off of, luck of the draw, of who you bowl, when you bowl them, and things like that. And so I'm disappointed, but I'm very happy with how I played and how I competed. And every time I put my shoes on is an opportunity to learn and just get better. And it's a long season, and I ain't done yet.
No, you are not. Because it's
It's
a
a long
double
road.
elimination tournament.
I said apparently my road is just going to be a bit longer this year to repeat, but yeah, I'm very, very proud of how I competed. And so watching and again, this is the second time they've oiled. The next round will be on burn for the winner's bracket. But then when the contenders bracket pops back out on the lanes at 4 o'clock, it's fresh again. So it's the third run of the day. So I'm expecting the back ends to just be a bit tighter as well. So we'll see. Throw a few different balls in practice and go from there.
A lot of notes that you have kept both mentally, and I know
Yes,
you write them down.
I do.
As well. So
I do. How has your morning been?
it's been solid.
Exciting.
We've had some great matches, but probably the most exciting thing for us is we've been able to give every single match.
Isn't that amazing?
For first time ever. So that's very historic, I guess,
Very-
on our end of it.
Very, very cool to be a subscriber to Bull TV because you get to watch all the action. So bravo and thank you to all of those that have subscribed to watch us and support us. It is extremely, I guess I'm extremely thankful for all of that because, within the bowling industry, if we don't all support each other, then, it's hard to succeed. So thank you. Grateful.
Cindy Jane is thankful for that late love on the 10 and talking about getting off to a good start. She is going to do that, and Angie's going to have certainly an uphill battle. Were there any points in your match from the lane transition perspective where you started to see things where you say, okay, maybe I can't stay here.
Yes.
What move do I need to make, and when did that happen?
Yes, so for me it was towards the end of game 2. The ball was starting to wiggle a little bit down lane. So to me, that was the indication that my eyes were at like 3, so I was probably hitting like 4 or 5 for 10 minutes of practice and 2 full games. And so there's an indication to me that my ball was starting to read too early, and then I needed to just maybe chase it a little bit left. So that's what I did, and it was very key for me to just be a little bit softer with it. But the indicator was that they seemed to be tighter down lane. 2 games in, it's not so much that it's tighter down lane, but the ball that I was using was a little bit too early, so it's giving me the illusion that they were tighter down lane. So instead of moving even further right, if I do that, then all of a sudden, the ball would start to go high. At least in my brain, that's how I saw it. And so I moved 1 and 1 left and was just trying to be a bit softer with it. Hindsight, if I could have doubled in the 10th the game before, that would have been ideal because I would have tried something different.
Sure.
But I was leading by 80 with a game to go, so I'd assumed, this is the safe play. Just going to move 1 and 1 left and just be a little bit softer. And I didn't miss a pocket. And I pocket 7-10 twice. So, again, I don't regret anything because that's all you can do is make the moves that you think are right and execute, and that's what I did.
And at the same time, Caitlin had to have the big game.
She bowled 270. She bowled amazing. She, I think, had the front 4 and then left the 210 and made it. I mean, she bowled great. And so very excited and happy for her as well. It's just such a cool tournament, and it's hard to not be happy for those that win, and it's exciting, and yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And I guess if I don't happen to repeat, I get to be the one that crowns the champion. And anytime that I can be there in the moment of victory and love on one of my opponents or potential friends or something like that and crown them as a major champion is just very cool.
Shannon O'Keefe is joining us. So if you have a question or two while we're here this round, good shot from Zul Keefley. Please drop those in the chat. And
please do so. So the scoring took me a minute to understand what was going on. Is anybody else having issues with that, or is that just me?
Well, probably because I've seen it before.
Yeah.
It's actually very similar to what you'd see at like the Open Championships,
Yes.
for example.
It always takes me a minute.
Yeah, it is an adjustment because you got to go like, oh, okay, well, let me recount it a little
Yeah.
bit. So yes, it can be a little of an adjustment period.
In my match, I went back and I'm like, can't look at that. And I went back and I actually added the score sheet of where it was written, and I was like, okay, our max scores can be this. I was like, oh crap, well she doubles, she shuts me out, and she did. So, I'm like, well darn it.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have known. You just didn't need to know, and it would have been fine.
Well, it was after I pocket 7-10 in the
Okay.
ninth, so it was fine.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, Angie is trying to find something here.
Yeah, she's struggling, which I'm actually surprised because she bowled so great in the qualifying. But goodness, it's kind of, again, why this tournament is so challenging is matches versus qualifying is such a different beast. And the mental side of it that goes into it is tough.
So Keithley shot 198. That leaves Liana Franco an opportunity. She'll be trailing, but she can cut it down a little bit here with a mark. And a fill in the 10th. Cynthia says, well, Shannon is so cool. She is.
Oh, thanks, Cynthia.
She is cool.
Tell my college kids that when I'm barking at them for missing spares. No, I'm just kidding. Like a real mom.
You actually had a few players this week.
I
Hope
did.
was bowling.
Hope
Shannon,
was bowling. Yeah.
Shannon Grimm.
Shannon Grimm. And then two girls that have now graduated out of my program, Lauren Pate and Sarah Willie. I just love my kids. I'm so proud of them. And even if they don't bowl up to what we know they're capable of or their expectations, just the fact that they're willing to get out here and get the experience. I say all the time, you can't buy experience. Well, I guess you can by entering tournaments, but
Sure.
I wish I could just give them my experience, but that's just not how it works. You got to do it yourself. And so if they can learn from it, then it was successful.
176 for Juliana Franco.
The crazy thing about this tournament is you see something like right in front of us, Angie and Lee Jane. Lee Jane, she's up by 90 pins after one game, but you and I have both seen.
Oh, yeah.
That does not matter.
Yeah, it's interesting how that happens. And
Yeah.
I was telling Summer earlier, we were talking about it, just as the games go on, and really like game one is like the barometer first, where everyone, there may be a few nerves, got to just get the
Just trying to
jitters
feel it out.
Right, you feel it in. Then all of a sudden, okay, second game, you start to be a bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
And then third game, generally,
Yep.
everyone's comfortable at that point. But there's generally some kind of flip-flop sometimes where
Yeah.
the person who wasn't comfortable first
Right.
now is comfortable.
And it's funny, too. I was talking about this with my ball reps, and, I'll use my, not to talk about me, I'm just using it as an example, but you see this so much. If somebody is down in a match by 70 or 80, how often do you see them shoot a massive big game? Because it's almost better to be beating somebody by 20 or 30 versus that 70, 80, or 90.
Yeah.
Because their arm swing is loose. They're like, I got nothing to lose. And all of a sudden, it's like the pins know. And we see it so much in this format. So my goal the next match is to only be beating my opponent by 20. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, I told Summer earlier, I was like, I think 30 is like the deficit. Like if you're going to be down,
number.
just be like be down 30.
Be down 30, yeah. That's funny.
So Keithley struck early, and talked to Shaolin this week, and we were talking about lane play, and she put together a nice block to ensure her spot into match play yesterday. We had a couple players have humongous blocks of plus 150, plus 170 just to get into the cut.
Yeah.
Almi was one.
Haley Richard was another one.
Absolutely.
That was amazing. It kind of goes back to what I was just saying. It's like they had nothing to lose. They weren't the number going in or down by, out of the number by 10 or 20. Like, they were out by so much. They literally had nothing to lose. They're like, well, let's do this because I'm just going to give it a try. And then they're free to play, and they're throwing it great. And then all of a sudden, it's just fun. And that's where sometimes the mental side of it can be so powerful.
Yeah, you can't understate that, the mental fact
Yeah, oh yeah.
of this situation. All right, I'm going to throw you in the analysis chamber here. Which,
Ooh.
all right, so Angie Ramirez, one of the
Yes.
talented top lefties.
Yes.
Kind of break her the game down. Why is Angie? What makes her, you think?
Well, number
such a
one,
good
I
player?
think what makes Angie such a great player is that she's so fiery. You know, she bowls from her gut and from her heart all the time. And she never gives up. And that's why, number one, I think she's so tough. So it goes back to the mental side of it. She's super, super tough. But on the physical side of it, her arm swing is very, very straight. It's hard to get into too much trouble for too long when you have a really straight arm swing. I really like how she uses her legs. You know, she doesn't pop up out of it, causing her swing to get super steep or anything like that. I think if she can get her body in the right place with the ball that, you know, maybe reacts the same 2 times in a row, then she can just repeat. But I think that's what makes her so tough. She's mentally tough, and she's got a ton of experience, but her mechanics are just very clean. Very easy to repeat when you have clean mechanics like that. As she chops a spare.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't look at the result, folks. Just look at the
Just
physical
watch
portion.
the physical portion. I like that game.
That's a good game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep playing it here.
Okay.
I'll give you some more in just a sec. All right, so the early open here for Ramirez, and at this point, you just see her. You don't see her on camera, but we can see her. She took a little extra moment
Yeah.
in the back to just kind of say, okay.
She knows what she needs to do
Right.
to help her kind of find her groove. I have seen her in international competition for over a decade now. And the thing about Angie is she will look like she has absolute air, and then she just keeps working through it. She keeps thinking about it, and then all of a sudden she'll put a 7-bagger together as if nothing happened. And so she truly is a great little player. She's making a ball change here. You know, she's like, I got nothing to lose here. There's no reason to play safe. She's on an open. It's the perfect time to do it. She's just a very smart player.
And her opponent, Sin Lee with 247 already.
Yeah.
And still looking strong here.
She ain't going away.
through 3 frames, and so you've got to find a way to
catch up.
catch up and strike.
Yes.
So Keithley on the other side now has doubled early, and after shooting 198, again Franco with 176. I talked about Shaolin said she first made the Malaysian team or represented Malaysia when she was 13 years old.
I believe that.
And she's been obviously on the team since then.
Yes.
28 years. That is
Come on.
just what 28 years she's been representing
That's
Malaysia.
amazing. That's amazing.
28.
So when I first made Team USA in 2005, she was like the big
Absolutely.
deal, like
Yep.
the most recognized international player. Very fiery and like, oh, I just loved it. You know, she reminded me a lot of the days when I would watch the old PWBA and watch Carolyn Dorn-Ballard and how she was fiery and yelling. And, you know, I just loved that. And so I love that about her. And I was so intimidated by her. I was like, oh, Shaolin. It was really, it's fun now to be her friend and, you know, talk about her daughter and things like that. But yeah, I had heard that in Malaysia, there was a billboard of her
I
in
can imagine
Malaysia.
that. Yeah,
Because
I'm
she was
sure.
like a big deal.
Right.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Early 3-bagger for Shaolin. Juliana Franco. Almost in a not as big of a deal, but similar situation to kind of what Angie is facing. But
Yeah.
the difference here is the deficit is not as large
Correct.
than what we're seeing on 27 and 28.
Correct.
So, Franco, while seeing Zulkifli throw the first 3, can, mentally can still say, okay, I'm still close.
Yes.
Here, as opposed to, okay, I've got to start striking soon, or
Right.
I could be,
You
it
know,
could be over in
spares
a
are
match.
spares are obviously spares are so important all the time, but in a match when it's really super close, obviously it's even that much more important.
The
And
open
I'm just-
frame. It's okay. I've been jinxing people all week. It's okay.
Jeez, I'm just the cloud over here.
I have been jinxing folks as well.
So here's a little tidbit with Lee Jane. So I got to bowl the World Cup last year, and I was very fortunate enough to win. I was just talking to Ami Guerrero about this, that it was like a bucket list thing for me to bowl that tournament, and I've always like dreamed of winning it. And I struggled through qualifying. I was just struggling to find the right ball motion. I mean, I tried everything. I bowled with my wrist brace off. I have a shorter one that I bowled. I tried lofting it, getting it in the lane early, getting my hand around it. I was trying everything. But the only reason that I was able to even get to the title match is because through the entire tournament, 42 games worth, I only missed 2 makeable spares. And that's, something that I took back to my kids at McKendree, and I was like, guys, like, the only reason I was even in the position to have a chance to win that tournament was the fact that I didn't take myself out of it by missing spares. It's like my big thing with them preaching spares. But I got to bowl against Lee Jane, and I was fortunate enough that the pins fell my way that tournament to win, but I love watching her bowl. I could watch her bowl for days. She's so simple. She's that quiet but super confident. She knows who she is, and she just does what she does.
Her ball hits like a truck.
Oh my gosh. And it's so loud, and it's so deceiving because she doesn't have that big fancy rev rate. No, it's like, it's unbelievable.
She just attacks you.
She does.
It's
like the silent assassin.
It's very Liz Johnson-y.
I was just going to say that. She reminds me of Liz Johnson in so many ways. So many ways. She's fun to watch, and she's a very sweet, humble competitor, just like Liz.
Angie got her first strike here. And although it probably wasn't the strike she was looking for, the pins did fall. The 6 went into the 8s. And sometimes all you need is just to see it happen.
You just need a little kickstart sometimes. Remember who you are, and, oh, that's right, I can do this.
All right.
You never know.
We'll take that double. Meanwhile, so Keithley going to continue to put the pressure on. Another good early first round match. Stephanie Johnson and Brianna Cote. So
yeah, that one's close.
Yep, 7 pins after 1 game.
And then over here to the left, you can only see the balls over on 25 and 6. Every once in a while you can see them bowl on lane 26. But Caroline LaGrange and Jennifer King, it's a 9-pin match after game 1. So we got some close stuff. This is one of those tournaments, I don't know if anybody at home is watching this or you feel this way, but it's like for the first 1.5 to 2 games, you're like, whatever. But then game 3 hits and you're like running around like a maniac because the matches are so exciting.
Yes. Hey, it's like there's not like a lull, but it's just like that, like you said, that feeling out process. It's like, okay, let's just get through game 1. And then we know that the tension is going to continue to build, and then it reaches this peak in game 3.
It's like if I could just fast forward to game 3.
Pocket 7-10 for Zulkifli. So first open for Shaolin in the 5th.
And Lee Jane is just being Lee Jane.
We are joined in the booth by Shannon O'Keefe, defending champion.
Hi, friends.
Shan, what was one moment last year during your run that maybe kind of stood out?
I know 100%. Like, people think that it's when I bowled 299 to beat Amanda Fry and make the show, but that's not it. It was my opening round. I was bowling Karen Marcano, and I was up by, like 50 pins. And Karen is shooting 270 against me. So she finishes the 10th frame. And before she even bowled her 10th frame, I was back talking to my husband and our other ball rep, Rob Gottschall. And I was using a GB2, but I had 3 of them. And I said to them, the right lane is tighter down lane, so no matter what, I'm going to change balls to a different GB2 on that lane that just went a little bit cleaner, like a little bit longer. And they're like, okay. Well, then she gets up, and I think she doubled to shoot 270, which forced me to double to beat her. Yeah. And they're like, Shannon, I said, no, I'm doing it. Like, I'm confident in this. It is going to work. And the first shot off my hand, it was really, really good. It executed great, and it read the lane absolutely perfect. And then I did it again, and I doubled. And so to me, that is the moment that stood out to me because I was so confident in what I was seeing that I did it. I made that adjustment freely and no regrets, right? And so to be able to win that match, I think is a huge reason why I was able to go on that run last year, because not only was I confident in what I was seeing and what I was doing, but I had a very clear picture of how ball changes needed to be made. So to me, that's the moment that stuck out. And then actually on the TV show against Brianna Cote, I made that same ball change. Same one. So, but it was the opening round last year.
And again, that's not the easiest thing to do. We touched on that a little bit, Summer and I, earlier, just when to figure out. It can be difficult to switch balls,
Yes.
to make a ball change in a 3-game total pinfall
Yes.
match. You know, it kind of depends on what the opponent might be doing.
Correct.
The risk, you know, I guess measuring the risk level at that point.
Yeah. Risk versus reward, and sometimes, you know, you gamble and it pays off and other times it doesn't. And I was very fortunate that it worked. Shalin with another strike here to bounce back from her pocket 7-10. So she is in good shape.
Doing her thing. Let's see, Clara has down on 39 and 40. Clara's got 3 in a row, 9 spare 3 in a row. She is facing Debbie Ayers right now. She is leading by 100 pins.
Wow.
It's a close match with Carrie Smith and Kristen Nieder in game 2. Pretty close still with, as we mentioned, Stephanie Johnson and Brianna Cote. Good shot there for Bree in frame number 7. Danielle McEwen and Lilia Robles.
Yeah, Danielle found herself in a little bit of trouble early. But Lilia, I don't know what, does it say on there? Did she split on her string?
She missed a single pin.
She missed a single pin. Yeah, I didn't see it, but then, I mean, pretty much perfect the rest of that match. So that's going to be a close match.
266 for Robles. 487 at the moment for Lilia. Danielle can get to 216 this game. And so either way, that's going to be a 40 to 50 pin deficit for McEwen. But that's not a lot.
No, not when you're talking about Danielle. With Team USA, gosh, when she first made the team, I've been very fortunate to be on the team for 15 years. And there's been a core group of us that have been together since I've been on the team. And so it was, you know, Shannon Plahowski, myself, and Stephanie. Kelly's been part of that the majority of the time as well. And so Danielle, when she first made Adult Team USA, man, she just repeats. And it's so much fun. And so we started calling her our little robot. And I think at the time it was like 2.2 because she was 22 or something like that. And so now every year as she gets older, we're like 2.5, 2.6, 2.7. But she's just, I just love that girl so much. She's very sweet. She's very intense, very serious. But, man, she works hard. Her work ethic. Watching her on social media is what pushes me because not only is she my teammate, I don't want to let her down if we have Team USA competitions, but at the same time she's my competitor. And so Danielle and I think we both kind of agree. We push each other on and off the lanes. But, yeah, she's – being up by 40 pins on Danielle is not very much.
This is the USBC Queens. This is the 11:30 block of matches with the right side of the bracket if you are just joining us. So if you happen to stop by and you're looking for a particular player, please check the bracket first. It's very possible that someone you were looking for may have bowled already this morning. All winners will come back and bowl at 1:30. Any matches, or excuse me, those who lost their first round match, whether it be at 9 a.m. or who will lose here at 11:30, will bowl at 4 p.m.
Yes.
today, and we will have all of those matches as well on Bowl TV. Sin Lee Jane is, I don't like to use the word easy, but making it look very playable. She has definitely got the right ball, right line matchup, and when
Angie
you try
can't catch a break.
When you try to throw it good, and you do, and figure some things out, you get a tough break, and that's what Angie is going through right now here on 27 and 28. 4-pin match between Jennifer King and Caroline Lagrange. So you'll want to watch the finale of that one on 25 and 26.
It's exciting.
Two former collegiate players. Caroline, of course, from Wichita State. And Jen King, who spent some time in Wichita early in her career before moving on to Pikeville.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And in fact, Jennifer King and Kayla Bandy, really good friends. Of course,
Do
Kayla,
they bowl together?
You know Kayla from
Of course I do.
your collegiate coaching. She's coached at Maryland Eastern Shore, and Jen has assisted her when she's able to. They bowled together at Pikeville and won the ITC title in this very building.
Oh, very
in
cool.
2008.
That's very cool.
So Angie, talking with Steve Jacobs, the Storm Roto 900 Global Reps, and this will be at least, I want to say at least the third ball that Angie will certainly give a whirl. And again, obviously no other choice at this point to try something, and
Right.
you never know. At the very least,
know.
she gained some information for
later.
later.
You're right. I mean, one thing that I've always said in this tournament is you got to beat everybody to win it anyway. So
That's true. That's such a good point. Yeah, no matter,
Right?
it could take longer.
it could just take longer. It's fine.
The other thing to remember, to be
We have
honest with
next
you,
week off anyways. It's fine.
that's a good point too. You do get a few days of rest.
Yeah.
Speaking of next week, our next event is the Sonoma County
Sonoma.
Open.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know a thing or two about
I
that.
do. I really love it out there. I like it because they're so hard. The building is really hard. Like, it's just something about the topography of the building and how the lanes are that it doesn't matter what pattern we bowl on. You just know they're going to be really hard.
You won that event last year
I did.
in 2018.
It was a crazy final.
Great match.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then you had another great match with Verity Crawley.
Yeah, me and Verity,
weeks
man,
ago.
we just seem to go toe-to-toe sometimes, huh?
That's good.
Yeah.
We come to expect that now. So we know if you guys are ever in the title match, we know
It's going to be a good one.
it's going to be great.
Yeah.
About to move into game 3 here on 27 and 28.
Right.
So you talked about Jane earlier in her game.
Yeah.
So, if we're on TV right now,
Yes.
analyze Lee Jane there.
So again, it's super easy to repeat when you have a really straight arm swing, which she does. What I think makes her so great on sport patterns is she's so up the back of it. So she, by your rotation being less, meaning her hands coming up the back of it, it allows the ball to read front to back a little earlier, and it tends to blend out those tougher conditions. So if she happens to miss a little bit right, it reads early enough that it wants to come up off of it, but if she gets it left a little bit where there may be a little bit of buildup of oil, it's not going to jackknife and go crazy through the pocket.
Sure.
So when they're a little bit tougher, she is really tough to beat because of what she does. Super simple. She can get her hand around it. I have seen it. But because her game is so simple, straighter angles are better for her. Like you mentioned earlier, she's very Liz Johnson-esque. She's versatile because she's a contender on everything, but she's not versatile to the point where you're going to visually really see it.
Correct.
Like, let's say Verity. You see Verity slide into 13 and play 4, but then you also see her slide into the middle of the left gutter and hook the whole lane. She's very versatile, and she can do that and play all over the lane. Lee Jane is also very versatile, but it's very subtle. So she makes subtle adjustments with either where her eyes are on the lane, what her hand is doing at the bottom, very smart with her ball choices in order to be able to be a contender no matter what pattern we're bowling on. How's that?
I like that.
Okay.
No, and I think also that's very important for just for viewers to, as they watch, and to say that someone may or may not be versatile. They need to make sure you give it a few more looks before you make that declaration, because
Right. It may not be this big visual, obvious versatility thing, but versatility to me is more about ball speed. How much can they adjust their ball speed? their rotation, how much can they adjust their axis rotation. Those are the two main parts of ball motion anyways. And then how smart are they with their equipment, their surfaces on their equipment, and all those things. And so her and Liz Johnson are great at being able to do that. They wouldn't be as successful as they are across the globe if they weren't great, versatile players.
Get joined in the booth by Shannon O'Keefe. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Let's take a look at our live scoring and just give the old peruse and see where we are in certain matches.
Yeah, can we see what's going on the low end?
Yeah, Natalie Cortez is leading Ileana Lomelli. They are into frame 3 of game number 3, it looks like. Shannon Pluhowski leading over Ali Tatro. It's a pretty good match down there. Leanne Holstenberg trails Bernice Lim after 2 games. 2 Queens champions bowling on 17 and 18. Anita Arnett and New Wei Finn. That's a pretty close match there on 19 and 20. Want to check that out. Deandra Asbeatty is trailing Erin McCarthy after 2 games as well, which looks to be a bit of a low-scoring match.
It does, yeah.
That happens all the time at this event. Shannon Sellens and Almi Guerra.
Ooh, close
That's
match.
pretty close. Just a few pins separate. Shannon Sellens at a 6 split in the 5th frame.
She made it, though.
And she just made it. And Guerra 3 out of 4, but 1 open early. So keep your eyes on that one on 21 and 22. Robles and Danielle McEwen, just a few pins separate them. Caroline Lagrange and Jennifer King, we talked about their 1-pin match after 2 games. And between the 2 of them, 7 of 8 strikes.
Yeah, jeez.
To
and
open things
that
up.
8-1 for Caroline Lagrange was a pocket 7-10.
7-10, indeed. Let's see, what else do we have? Shayna Ung leading Jennifer Russo by 18 pins as they head to the 3rd game. Carrie Smith and Kristen Nieder up by 20 after a couple, as they head into game number 3. Rebecca Whiting leads Esther Chia on 37 and 38. Clara Guerrero all over Debbie Ayers at the moment. They head to game 3, and Carolyn Doran Ballard and Missy Parkin and CDB right now on top of Parkin. Another matchup of past Queens champions.
Yeah, that's fun. And I'm assuming everybody that is listening, being subscribers, you guys know you can go to the camera feed and you can click on any of the cameras to find any of these matches that you want. You can watch it live.
Yep. Anything that when you see the red button,
it's pretty amazing.
It means it's live. You can also then, the first thing that would pop up, except if you're on the featured channel, you'll see the chat first. But the next tab will be who is on that pair.
That's pretty cool.
So you'll know exactly who's bowling who. And, of course, if you need some more assistance with that, just check out bowl.com/queens or pwba.com/live. All of your informational needs. 169 for Franco. Zulkifli 226. And so Shaolin now extending her lead.
Yeah, by 79, right? 79 with a game to go. But that doesn't mean anything, I'm telling you people. That means nothing. Now, if you're up by 70 with half a game to go, that's a different story.
Sure. Well, Juliana is I'm struggling a little bit here, so let's watch her and think maybe what moves might be necessary based on the 176, 169 start. I feel that both have been in the same area of the lane.
Right.
But Zulkifli has been more consistent in the 1-3. So here's Franco up on 29 to start game number 3.
You know, a lot of it with Juliana could just be what her hand does at the bottom. At times she can be really grabby, and having higher axis rotation being grabby makes it even worse. Hence, when it gets to the end of the pattern, it goes a little bit crazy, which you just saw. I think if she could quiet that down just a little bit, it may help her feel like her motion, her ball motion may be a little more consistent. I found that, you know, talking with ball reps and watching as much as I have, that it seems to be the girls that seem to be a little more softer handed through it at the bottom tend to have a little bit more of a consistent ball motion, if that makes sense.
Would you say that was one of the keys?
Yes.
Certainly.
Without question.
Jane already off to the early double. But Angie, again, still working to try to figure something out.
She is.
In a match like this, whether you're the player who has the best look or you're the player who is struggling and at a point where I've just got to get what I can and figure out what I need to take with me to the next match.
Yeah.
How do you handle both?
So if you're on the side where you're the player that's in control and has the best look, you just keep doing what you're doing and keep repeating. A lot of it just goes to that mental side of thing that just make the little adjustments. Be very aware that if you grab one, what is the ball doing? If you get it up the lane a little bit, what is the ball doing? You can find a lot of comfort in the fact that you have a little bit of room to miss.
Sure.
And so that gives you the confidence going into the future matches. If you're the one who's struggling, it definitely takes that mental toughness to keep fighting and not give up, knowing that this is just the opening round. You have other matches ahead of you, and you could go on a really nice run if you could figure something out. So taking lots of notes, writing things down, and just, again, being very aware of the situation.
Jen King has started with the front six in her match against Caroline Lagrange. Keep you updated there. Oh, my goodness gracious. Gosh.
I don't mean to laugh at her. I'm
No,
not.
you're laughing at
I'm laughing at the situation. That's just brutal.
At the BS that's happening.
It's just brutal.
Wow. That was an excellent shot.
That's a great shot.
And you've seen what Angie has done, just the transitions from the various bowling balls in the arsenal.
Yes.
Literally, trying to figure something
worked
out.
Her whole arsenal here. And that's very smart. That's being a smart player. I mean, she's pretty much like, this match is over. You can say that. This match is over. And so she has 6 frames left here of competition bowling to kind of play around and see what's different. What does she miss in practice? What different options will she have going forward? Maybe making those mental notes, like, this ball probably would have been better with a different surface on it, and maybe make some surface adjustments, things like that.
And the key for her, obviously being left-handed, is used to, not having a lot of traffic certainly on the lane, but there'll be plenty of other matches, hopefully, that she has at least one more where she could be bowling a right-handed player and will still be in the same situation she is now.
Yeah, so she's bowling on her own breakdown. And so maybe her 10 minutes of practice will be used a little bit differently.
Right.
That does matter. So
that's underrated.
I think it makes a big difference. Like, so something that I've done and something I try to teach my college kids is that count how many shots. Like, if let's say you're trying to burn up a spot a little bit further right of where you want to play to give yourself a little bit of room, right? I will count how many shots I've thrown out there to make each lane equal. Now, it doesn't mean both lanes are going to play the same, but at least you're being smart about it. You're not just doing it aimlessly and not paying attention. So, and I'll do that on TV shows as well. If I'm doing something or throwing a specific bowling ball that we hit with surface, and it looks good on one lane, I will make sure that I will throw that equal amount of shots with that same ball on the other lane. It's just trying to be smart and aware of what's going on. But bowling on your breakdown, it matters, and you just got to be smart about it. So Danielle, our little robot 2.8, I think she is now, has found herself right back in this match, if not leading at this point.
Yeah, she is working on a 3-bagger. And Lilia is clean through 7, but no doubles. This has allowed McEwen, who can take the lead here. She's up on 24. Frame 7, and packs 10 back.
Danielle being Danielle.
She's
my teammate.
Never counted her out of a match.
Never.
Either.
She's tough.
So Keithley has ran off the front 4, but Franco, after their early Brooklyn, has utilized that to her advantage. And, hey, still hanging around here, making Zulkifli, continue to work hard. There's Hooley.
That was a good shot right there.
High flush for Hooley. Uh-oh.
Ami.
Almi. So I like watching her bowl.
Me too.
The emotions that are always there post shot. And it was interesting, obviously, yesterday, watching her bowl.
I have a funny story.
She came in needing plus 161 just to equal what was the number at the time at plus 39.
Yep.
And she went to plus 173 and
Yep.
ended up needing every single pin
Yep.
of it. It's crazy.
Unbelievable. So here's my funny story about Ami. So bowling the women's championships is important to me. I love it. It's a great event. You don't get to bowl team event stuff very often, and so it's my opportunity to do that. On top of that, being a college coach, it's my opportunity to be able to bowl with some of my college kids when they graduate, right? Be their teammate. So we were bowling PABCon down in the Dominican, and I asked Ami, because I'm limited with who I can team up
Sure.
with. So I asked her, hey, do you bowl the women's championship? She goes, no. And I said, do you want to? And she's like, yeah. And I said, it's right before Queens. And I said, here, how about this? If you can get there, I will pay for your women's championships and I will pay for your Queens entry. I want you to do, because she kept saying it doesn't make any sense financially for her to come over because it's so expensive to get here. And I said, let me do this for you. And she was like, oh my gosh, Shannon O'Keefe, being all cute on me, right? So, the second day of Queens, she was like, I can't believe Shannon O'Keefe made me come bowl this and blah, 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 blah. And then yesterday, after she'd had her massive block, she's like, oh my God, I love you. It was the cutest thing on the planet. I adore her. But her fire, that's another thing. It just kind of drew me to her. When I first met her bowling internationally back in 2005, I'm like, I love her fire. I love her spunk. I love her never give up attitude. She's a fun one to watch. And yeah. Did she win that match?
I think so.
Yeah.
She just shot 703.
Wow.
And Shannon Sellens actually can still get to 50, 80, 16, 270 herself.
Wow.
So that's a close match.
Wow.
It's going to be just a few pins the difference at the end of it.
That's crazy.
But that's how Ami's had to attack it this
What
week.
happens.
And, hey, you get in, there's nothing to lose at this point.
Nothing to lose.
So what that would mean is, let's see, let's take a look at our bracket and we'll wait for the official tally. But the applause certainly sounded like
It did sound like she locked it up by doubling.
So again, Almi was the 63rd. Shannon Sellens, that's the other part of the event where you go, it's a tough way to lose certain matches.
Yeah,
And Shannon Sellens was great this week.
She bowled awesome this week.
All right, another one for Sin Lee Jane, and
She's like on cruise control right there.
you talk about lined up early. She was lined up. I think obviously because Angie was struggling early, she had an opportunity to just kind of remain loose, stay relaxed, and continue to put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
On 29 and 30, dueling front sixes with Juliana Franco and Shaolin Zulkifli. I know Shannon is
Man, she just
disappointed
bowled
there.
270, bowled 690, 690?
662.
yeah.
703, 662.
Wow.
So Gerda will advance in the winners brackets. So the 64 defeats a 1 earlier today. The 63 defeats a 2 here at 11:30.
That's why it doesn't matter where you qualify. You just got to get to the bracket. Right?
That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do. Get to the
As
bracket.
everyone says, it's it's kind of the start of a new tournament,
Yeah.
if you will.
It really is like we've bowled 2 tournaments. That's why it's so cool. It's like a love-hate relationship.
I would agree.
Angie put together a triple there. So, this could be signs of her finding something.
Yeah, I think the last few shots for her have been, not that she's thrown it good or hasn't thrown it good because she left a 9-pin on a couple shots. And so I think, perhaps the right combination of arsenal and the from one ball to one ball to one ball,
Yeah.
what that transition for her from the Arsenal perspective will be when she hits the lanes again at 4 p.m.
Yeah, I think that'll be good.
Keepley.
Woo!
All right, Shaolin trying to put the exclamation points. Stephanie Johnson has taken command.
Yeah, 70 says, okay, time to go.
Of her match against Brianna Cote. Steph made 3 of the 4 major TV shows.
Isn't that incredible?
She made the show here at the Queens.
Yep.
Then at the U.S. Women's Open,
Yep.
she was the #1 seed. Then at the Players, which she also was the #1 seed and won it. Obviously, you were on the show, of course, at the Queens.
Yeah, I was on. Well, I guess technically I was on 3 as well because of the tour championships. But she's just, Steffi's like my little sister. She's my best friend, and she's just fun to watch work, man. When she's got it, she's tough to beat. She's fun. And she had a great year last year, and to be able to witness her winning her first major was so special.
Front 8 for Shaolin Zulkifli. All right, let's take a look at additional matches that may have been, or that are complete. Looks like there aren't that many, but some are in the 10th frame. The only one at the moment is the Almi Guerra Shannon Sellens match. Again, Almi advancing in the winner's bracket, 703 to 662. Lee Jane Sin will be advancing here momentarily, and she will at least kind of set the bar for a high 3-game series of the day at the moment. 247, 268, and potentially 279. Goodness gracious.
Goodness gracious. No big deal.
Yeah, that's exactly how she's looking. Like, just,
no big deal.
Just round one. It's just round one.
The crazy thing with this tournament is she could go bowl on a different pair against a different opponent and shoot 580. It's just so crazy. This tournament is so exciting and so crazy. And goodness, everybody, hopefully you have nothing planned on this Sunday to continue watching because it's going to be an awesome day.
Franco with a lone open in the 7th. But Zulkifli looking now for 9 in a row. We've got a couple matches complete.
What's going on down on the low end? What do you got going on down there?
Looks like Natalie Cortez is going to get a win, and Shaolin Zulkifli has the front 9. Let's see. Shannon Pluhowski. Looks like she's going to get the dub over Ali Tatro. Bernice Lim will defeat Leanne Holsenberg in round number 1. Danielle McEwen defeated Lilia Robles. What a close match. 709 to 694.
I think if Lilia would have got the first one in the 10th, I think she would have beat her. Close, close, close.
Jen King shoots 724 to Caroline Lagrange's 677. Lee Jane sent 783.
No big deal.
Wow.
All right. Well, this is the story here. Shaolin.
Looking for 10 in a row. Nice shot.
Ooh. She says, excuse me, Angie. She's like, I'm going to try to wrap this up with a little bow on it here.
We ended or started this broadcast talking about the 28 years that Shaolin has represented Malaysia in international competition, and here she is, trying to give you Bowl TV fans and viewers a nice round 1 present. Not to be outdone by her teammate, Lee Jane Sin.
Right? Ooh, she likes it.
Ow, high
I know
flush.
that squat. I've seen that a lot.
Front 11 for Shaolin. All right, 5-13 for Angie, and that is indeed what we could certainly call a tough draw.
Yep.
Having to bowl Sin Lee Jane in the first round, especially where she qualified. Jane was qualified 58th, so she too had to double last night to get into the cut.
It really is incredible. You know, like I said, it kind of mentioned it. Well, I'll talk later. Let's watch this 300 right here.
All right, Zul Keefley, final shot.
She likes it.
Bang!
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
You could just tell it wasn't her first time.
No.
She was just,
She's
okay.
like, okay. When's lunch?
Nicely done. 7:24
nice.
for Shaolin. Okay, to your point.
So it's amazing how often you'll see people that are outside the number that will throw a double in the last game of qualifying to make it, and then it's like, man, that's what they needed, and then they come out in matches and do this, shoot 780 or 730, or it happens a lot. And again, it goes back to kind of what I was saying. It literally doesn't matter where you qualify. You just need to make the bracket, because anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and it's luck of the draw, and it's a whole new tournament. So look at that. You bowl the queens, and you get to bowl 2 tournaments for the price of 1.
Yeah, that's a good deal. That's a good deal, because if you make it, then you've earned yourself a check also as well. So that's a guaranteed check there when you do make the cut. Final score officially 724 to 576. So Keefley gets the win over Franco.
Yes.
Let's see. I hear some clapping down on
I
the
do too.
low
What are we
end.
missing?
Looks like it is New Wei Finn and Anita Arnett's match on 19 and 20. And that's a close one. Looks like 10 pins the difference right now. And Arnett not yet up in the 9th. So Wei, let's see, Anita's going to finish the match.
Yeah.
What, 1, 2.
If you guys are wanting to know, you can flip the camera over to lanes 19 and 20 to watch this one finish. Ooh.
That was 10 back.
That was pretty.
So Arnett strikes in the 9th.
So Anita will need to strike out to shut out. No, she'll need a double and
a couple?
Yeah, right? She's up by 10.
Couple and some change.
Yeah.
What else do we have going on here?
This is exciting.
Shayna Ung and Jennifer Russo. That's on 33. Well, Jen's in the books with 604. And it's possible Shayna can, well, not anymore.
Uh-oh, Anita missed the head pin. I don't know if it's a washout or not, but she missed the head pin.
Brianna Cote in the books at 559. She will fall to Stephanie Johnson. And round 1, other notes, Esther Chia came back to defeat Rebecca Whiting 699 to 662.
Shooting 250?
266.
Jeez.
Malaysia's about it this morning.
They're on it.
Kristen Nieder defeated Carrie Smith 647 to 592. Kristen, one of a couple non-members who advanced to match play and now has won a first-round match. So Shayna Ung needs a strike
to tie
Jen Russo.
Well, that's exciting. Well, not if I was doing that, I wouldn't want to do that. For everybody watching, this is very exciting.
That one is on 33 and 34. Clara Guerrero, by the way, is going to defeat Debbie Ayers.
It's much easier to sit here and talk about bowling than
got
it is
that
to
right.
do
Why
it.
do you think I do it every week? All right, Wei. Oh, that's 10 back.
That's 10 back to win that match, right?
Let's see. Oh, yeah, and Anita opened.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in the 10th. She shoots 567. A strike to tie. Through the nose. And Jennifer Russo is going to advance by a couple of pins.
Wow.
Here, round number 1 of the Queens. Other matches still ongoing.
Isn't
Debbie
it so
finishing out.
crazy how matches at 3 games can literally come down to a pin or two? Like, what the hell? It's unbelievable.
Well, that's like the best part. Again,
I
for
know.
us. Again, for us.
Again,
not
this
for
is
you, the
where
bowler.
like game 1 and game 2 is like blah blah, but then game 3. Yes, 60. You're right. 60 games. It comes down to a pin. You go look at all those like fill balls. You're like, oh, I'll just try this ball. You get 5. Like, shoot.
All right, so looking at the score.
What? I know. You're so right. You're so right. Well, guys, that was exciting stuff.
578 to 567.
And you want to know the best part about all of it is your favorite bowler is still competing. Who's
That's
ever
right.
watching? Your favorite bowler has not been
Hey,
eliminated
that's
yet.
right. That's true. That's a good point. Here's another good point. You should tell the good people of Bowl TV, for those of who may have some folks who want to subscribe,
Yeah.
where can they go? Where can they go follow you? And then how can you help them subscribe?
Come follow me, Shannon O'Keefe, on my fan page, Shannon O'Keefe fan page, or find me on Instagram, Shannon O'Keefe 800, I believe, on Instagram. But if you guys have friends or you're watching Bowl TV on a friend's account and you want to subscribe to Bowl TV, that you can use my discount code for 15% off an annual subscription, which, guys, that's like $5 a month. I will buy you coffee, 1 coffee a month for the whole year.
That's a good deal. I would take coffee. Coffee with O'Keefe.
Coffee with O'Keefe.
I would take that deal.
But you guys, if you are a bowling fan and you love women's bowling, this is the best way to watch it. USBC and BPWA with PWBA have stepped up their live stream game, and pretty much almost every single pair is live stream. And so if you've friends or your daughter's bowling or your sister or whoever and you want to watch them throughout the entire summer, you can do that by subscribing. So my discount code is PWBA Shannon O, and you'll get that 15% off an annual subscription. And don't miss out, because it's just getting started. We have the majority of our season left. We have the most exciting part of Queens left, and Queens will be on TV, and the last half of the tour season will also be on TV. But prior to that, you want to watch all of the action through qualifying and the stepladder finals through Sonoma, Tucson, and Phoenix. You got to catch that on Bowl TV. So make sure you tell all of your friends, PWBA Shannon O, for that 15% discount. Shoot, take a picture and send it to me on my fan page, and if you sign up, I will send you a Starbucks gift card
How about
for a
that?
month of coffee. How about that?
Wow. Okay. I'm going to take a picture and because I want a Starbucks gift card because I've gotten into coffee a little bit
Because you
these
got
days.
it. Yes, really.
A little bit.
Welcome.
We'll talk about
Welcome.
it.
Emil, we
no.
could do coffee with O'Keefe
We could.
one of these mornings
I'll have
and
to
take questions from people. We should do this.
Well, let's do it. Let's talk about
Let's do it.
it. Well, we got the nod from the producer.
Yeah?
So he's in.
Jason, you can even join.
He's in.
Do you like coffee? Okay. Extra large coffee for Jason. He needs more as we speak.
All right, folks, you
You
heard
guys,
Shannon.
thank you so much for tuning in. Emil, thank you for having me. It's always fun. And who
Always a
knows, maybe
pleasure.
I'll pop back in here.
Always a pleasure. All right, folks, be sure to check your brackets at bowl.com/queens, pwba.com/live. For Jason Thomas, Aaron Smith, Curtis Von Kruger, and to Neil Milligan, Kathy Walken, our entire staff here at North Rock Lanes, we will see you, 1:30. That's not too long from now for winners bracket matches here on Bowl TV. Stay tuned. More action on the way.